Hello, PBA LVC League Bowlers. I'm Neil Stremmel, your Director of Rules and Equipment. And once again, I'm joined by Chris Vi. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I wanted to have a discussion for the league bowlers out there with you about pro shops, about tape, about turbo, and some of the best products they have.
Yeah.
So, in your experience in your pro shop, when you're there and not out on tour, what is the most popular product that you guys sell that people are most interested in and they should learn more about?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's probably going to be the switch grips. Just when people start building their arsenals, they start getting a couple more bowling balls. We usually get a lot of people coming in asking about, the switch grip or, just the removable thumbs and how it can benefit them, or, is it applicable to them or their game. And honestly, if you got more than 3 bowling balls, I mean, even if you got 3 bowling balls, I think it's applicable, just because it's very hard to work out bowling balls the exact same way every single time. Obviously you get fresh sanding discs on the bevel sander and it opens up a little bit quicker, or maybe it's a little rougher, or you don't quite bevel it quite the same at the top. It's a very finicky process that, it's obviously, it's kind of, almost art in a way, where you're trying to carve it out the exact same way every single time. And it's just realistically, it's not quite, it's very, very hard to do. So the interchangeable thumb, all we got to do is get one right, and one that feels really good. And then now you can take that from one to another, to another, to another. And then now all of your bowling balls feel the exact same. So no matter if it's game 1 you're using a certain ball, or game 3 maybe using a different ball, you're going to have that same feel on your thumb.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly why I did that years ago. You get enough balls, you want to have that same feel. One less thing to worry about, one less thing to think about when you're switching. You're switching balls and you don't have an interchangeable thumb, then next thing you know, you have a weird feel, yeah. And now you're thinking about something else, and you need to be focused on the shot.
Yeah, it doesn't quite get off your thumb the same way. It's like, man, if I could only throw this ball like I throw this ball. And it's like, I know this is going to be the right ball right now, but I can't throw it the way I want it to. I can only throw this one the way I want it to, but it's not going to strike. So then you're just in a real problem. So
now you're not thinking right.
Now then it's a whole different mental game. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that we sell. And I think everyone seems to really, really love them, and they actually they see the benefits from it.
All right, so when people get their switch grip, even if it's a 3-ball arsenal, I agree, that's about the time you get to your 3rd ball, like you want that feel to be the same, and then as you keep moving forward, keep going with that. Yeah. So they get their switch grip, it feels good. Do they put tape into that thumb hole then and take tape in and out? Is that common?
I think that's the biggest difference between professionals and amateurs. I think a lot of the amateurs assume that the thumb has to fit perfect with no tape in it, right? And I don't know a single professional that doesn't have at least multiple pieces of tape in their thumb. Some maybe probably a little bit too much, but I would say, there's guys that, 3 to 7 pieces of tape is perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Obviously we travel a lot and we're in different environments, and thumbs may swell up, may shrink, but that's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah.
Because if you have a thumb that fits just perfectly with no tape in it, well, if it's a warm summer day outside and you're outside all day and then you got to go bowl, your thumb's probably going to be a little bit bigger. Or you're in Wisconsin, I'm in Ohio, it gets cold, right? So during the winter months, that thumb tends to shrink a little bit. Well, then now it feels a little bit too big, and then you put tape in, and then your thumb swells back up, and then you don't have any more room, then you got to open it up, and it's just kind of a constant battle. Where if you go ahead and make it just a touch bigger and have that tape, that gives you that flexibility of, hey, my thumb swelled a little bit, I can just take a couple pieces of tape out. You don't have to mess with, again, if you're sanding it out more, you may be messing with the top of the hole, and that messes with how your thumb comes out of the ball, and it's obviously like a whole different thing. So I always recommend having it just a touch bigger to allow for a few pieces of tape to, one, it also gives you a little bit of that consistent feel on the ball, and just naturally it's way easier to have it fit properly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you'd be defeating practically the whole purpose of an interchangeable thumb by now your thumb swells up, and now in the middle of the tournament or in the middle of the league, you're trying to open it up.
Yep.
And you've just defeated the purpose of having that. So I like your advice. Make it a little big right off the bat, and then have some tape in there. And then as you bowl, and there's friction, and there's sweating, and there's different temperatures and humidities, no matter where you go, especially when you start traveling a little bit to different tournaments, different bowling centers have a different feel. And so being able to go through that tape and take it in and out allows that still that same good feel.
I mean, it could be as simple as just what you eat that day. Something a little higher in sodium, and the thumb swells up a little bit, and now you're hanging up in the ball, and you got to feel like you got to open it up, and so just those couple extra pieces of tape that allow that flexibility, I think is massive. I think it's a very, very good idea.
All right, bowlers, thanks for joining us. We've been talking with Chris Vai about turbo accessories, and next week we're going to spend some more time with him talking about fit and feel. So continue to support our sport. Thank you very much.